Hola, hola.
Hola, hola.
Bueno, buenos días a todos. Muchas gracias.
Good morning. Thank you for being here today. And I'm here with Graciela. This is the very last day. We had many presentations. It was very exciting. Yes, we shared very interesting experiences, and it's still going on. We talked a lot about version 15. We've seen many good things. Yes, I was happy to see the customers who use the version sharing their experiences. And what about you, Pablo? What are you doing in the market? Well, I would like to tell you a little bit about the following. With Graciela, we work in different markets. We do support, but I work with the Brazilian market. There are several Brazilian customers here. And version 15, especially in the last few months, I've been working with the smart devices. That's not the only thing they've been doing, but I have focused a lot in that area. And specifically, I've been helping with software house, ISD, and I've also participated in some projects with the startups developing smart device applications. What do the two scenarios have in common? Well, it's a quick development of GeneXus, and we want to have functional applications both in software house that are doing the concept testing, so that we can present this to the customers, or the startups, where we want to have a feasible product to validate the ideas. So if I were to summarize what the main features of GeneXus 15 are, I would say smart devices. And then integration. It was very helpful to me. What part of integration? Well, when it integrates with other platforms, other services, integration with open API, because this type of application integrates with other platforms. And then something that I have to say is that it facilitated the development of in the development of prototypes was the lab IT part. We know that GeneXus from the beginning has promoted incremental development, but live editing gives me a connection to what I'm doing at the moment. When you develop applications with a smart device, you know that small changes in the UI have an impact on the application. This is a kind of trial and error. You change things, you look at the application, and the process, even though it has been improved, is a little bit cumbersome. So it was quite a change. Yes, it provides, it makes it easy for us to provide the prototypes. But as I was saying, this is specifically when we speak about smart device applications. Now you tell me. We work side by side. We are neighbors. But you're not working with smart devices. You didn't even get a device. Very, very little. In fact, those in the market have worked with smart devices. I specialized in, I don't like that part very much. I devoted more to the web part. I accompanied customers that were developing web and others that were converting. I devoted more to larger companies that had KBs with over 6,000 objects, and they were moving to the 15th version. That was a challenge. And I was surprised, greatly surprised, that they started using modules. Yes, at the level of the development environment, they reorganized their KBs on the base of modules. And they told me that this was very useful, that it had many advantages. So are the KBs large? What about the modules you used? Do you organize them in folders, or how did you use them? Well, they found a new use. Sorry, they are all both speaking at the same time, and it's a little bit difficult to translate. They had folders, and they transformed the folders. They became modules. They were modules within the KBs. They store, they have sales, they have purchases. They reorganize the system. So they organize the KB, and in each of the modules, you put the objects, you say which are public, which are private. When you say these are public objects, they will be called from the modules. So you show the interaction of one module with another and the objects with which you can interact. They told me also that when they used modules in the KBs, they became more understandable. And when they have to bring a new developer, it's easier for them to explain that. Imagine the KBs, they have to do maintenance, new development, it's very difficult. So the learning curve is more structured, and new people know what they can do. If they want to connect with a storage module, they know which objects can be used. If not, they will ask people in the storage sector to help them. So we try to minimize the number of public objects we have, because that brings less risk for the other models. Yes, I quite understand what you're saying. That's good. It's good. It's good. Now that you explain it in these projects that I was part of, we have used that with a different idea. What was your idea? Well, these applications needed to be integrated with many APIs, as I said in the beginning, other platforms. So now you have APIs for everything. We don't reinvent the wheel. If you want to integrate with a payment platform, you use one API, or you use Watson, or Amazon has an API, for notifications has another API. All is based on APIs. In the latest versions, we have a module, Net Core module, that makes it easy. And so when we had to integrate with one of such platforms, we created a knowledge base where we have all the integration logics involved. And then in the projects, in the other KBs where we want to integrate with a platform, we do that through a module that we export as a package, and we export that as a package module in the knowledge base that we use. I saw that yesterday in the application of the control people that talked about this application for the KAMAIs. And this is an application of runners who are part of a marathon or a race. And the registry, they register and they pay to be part of the races, and they are integrated with a payment platform in Brazil. And they use this scheme. They created a KB, they implemented all the integration logic, they exported that as a package, and in all the other KBs where they need to integrate, they do through that module. That has an advantage. On the one hand, as you said, it's clear. You don't need to have all the implementation logic mixed up with a project. You only have the interfaces available in the module and not the other part. And in addition, it's easy to understand. The process is simplified, and as I import it as a package, it's already compiled. We don't need to generate and compile the whole thing, and this changes the whole process. That's good. But I was thinking about what you mentioned about the KBs supporting that. How did you organize that? What are the advantages of the recent versions? Well, as the equipment is large, we have between 10 and 20 people working in each team. Sometimes they work from different countries and they need to be integrated. So far, they were using GeneXus server, as these are large companies with large RP systems and developers. They send the commit, they send the updates. So to meet certain functionalities, you create a test environment. All this has to be tested, check the quality, validate what they do to see if it works, and then it goes to production. So with version 15, we found something that seems to be easy, but it's very important. Now you can connect many objects that you modify and you mark them as a one single commit. You say, all these objects that I modified solve a printing problem, for example. You bring them together, and when you upload, all objects go together, and those who organize it can download the change, test it in the server, and you can mark them. Another thing that is good is that you can modify the objects in GeneXus, and each of the lines that you modify will tell you what the blem is. You accuse the person who made the change the order. That's good. So you know when the change took place, and you can identify the reason why that change was made. Another advantage is that you have partial commits. It's very useful because you're working on the application, you have a for it, and then you change another thing. And in that same for it, you can update tributes. Or you upload something, you upload the change in the server, and you just upload the where, and the update of the attribute is not sent because that's in the same same go. Yes, you can change, you can indicate the changes. Oh, that's very useful to me too. It helps you strengthen the development. Well, in my projects, they are a little bit smaller. The teams were smaller. In one team, we were 2. In the other team, we were 3 people. We also use the GXR because it enables integration. And I use it as a repository to keep track of the changes. But the largest advantage in GeneXus server, without going into methodology and change control, what we want is to have the applications quickly, so we are in the creative stage of doing things. I want to have nothing to do with control of maintenance or changes. What is useful to me is the fact that I can experiment. If I want to make changes or try different things, I can do that at my own pace, because when I do commit, I have a list of all the changes available, and I can clearly see what the differences are and make decisions as to whether I will do this commit or no, I will go back to the version I have in the server, or say I'm not going to do this commit now and I will keep it as pending commit. But I can experiment and do things without copying objects or copying environment or copying KBs. So I can add new functionalities. In addition, as the focus is to have the applications online quickly, it's good when you have, well, with the GXR SaaS, I want to isolate myself from installation. I don't want to worry about that. And we are working with the latest previews of GeneXus 15. Now we have a new version of iOS. I need that, and I need to update with the previews, and therefore I need GXR to be updated. In addition, because we need to have the prototypes online, we must ensure continuous delivery. How to send things quickly. I have the machine with GeneXus server. We have another machine connected to the GX server, and automatically it detects the commits in the server. When there is a change, it downloads it through NSView batch processes that are running. It downloads the updates, creates a build with MC build, and we do the deploy in the cloud. So you use the cloud. Well, yes, but now we don't want to focus because we want to create objects or create a new characteristic or remove a bug, and we want the version to be ready. I know that maybe not all scenarios are alike, but at this stage, at this initial stage, this way of working is great. Yes, very different from what we are doing. In my case, we have large corporate applications that need to be installed in their own servers following security issues. This is more complicated. Yes, I took the difficult road. The customer did not have a Tomcat. They wanted to have Liberty, which is a QWERTY that is smaller. When they do F5, it's Tomcat, it's not Liberty. We couldn't use that. But I know now that we have a deployed tool. I don't use it. I go straight to the cloud. I do F6. But with a deploy tool, you can organize the packages. Well, but those packages are for standard platforms. I'm not using the standard platforms, and I use the warp. Well, after failing now and then, we were able to do that. I'm using Liberty, I'm using the images, and you can include this. All you need works today, and I'll tell you something. It also works for net. We didn't have this before. We didn't have a deploy tool for net. So if you try net, you'll see you can use everything. Oh, that's great news. That's a great step forward. Okay, what about security? That's no mean feat. You have everything very well controlled, you control the environments. Well, it's no mean feat. Well, most people started using GAM more than in the previous versions, but it was not an easy road. We used GAM with multi-tenor, so it's multi-company. We have several tenor, we have to configure everything. So we asked Sabrina for help. Without her, we couldn't do this. GAM is a product that generates hate or love. You either love it or hate it. Nobody understands GAM. You don't understand what GAM says. No, you don't. So thanks to Sabrina, who translated what it wanted to say, we have this multi-tenor. Wait, do I need Sabrina? No, because now we made it. We obtained everything we needed. And there's one presentation. You can go to the presentation. But it was not only that. These customers had it up in their companies, so used GAM. And apart from multi-tenor, it had to communicate with the ERP. So it was not an easy road. It was a very tough drive, though we solved all the scenarios for web and SD applications. Well, my road was easier, no bumps along the road. I want the applications to be secure by default. First of all, I want to be away from security. I don't like that. I like to be more creative. I know security is important. We have to take it into account, but GeneXus solves all that. In the smart device applications, many times we deal with the services that are in the back end, and all services are exposed. The data are exposed. That is all exposed. So the GAM, by being involved in authentication, it solves security very well. So I also found something that facilitated my integration with social networks, with Facebook. The API changes continuously. So my road is much easier. I know that installing GAM includes many objects I don't use, and the KB is complicated, but I understand that there are other scenarios which are very good, and I will have to take them into account at some point. But okay, it was useful. That's a very good tool. Security needs to be taken into account. In terms of security, you know, 403 has faced some problems. We don't have customers here with problem, but sometimes these are steps we need to take or obstacles along the road, but there's a reason why they are there. And I guess this is justified. That's why we made changes in terms of security. And I feel better because I found some 403, but we were able to solve some cases. But I have customers that certified their application. Large customers have to go through all the security checkups, and we were able to certify that. So in the end, I did well. Well, suffer a little bit more, but for a good reason. All applications are safer, more secure, and this is a very important issue. So in concluding, I think these scenarios that Graciela and myself presented from the enterprise sector, from the smart device innovation sector, seem to be very diverse, very different, but basically we use the same functionalities, and we have a permanent trade-off. On the one hand, what is robust, what is mature application, security, innovation, quick development with GeneXus. But at some point, we will change the roles. In my case, when these projects I was speaking about for applications for smart devices evolve, and I hope that is the case, I will have to focus more on security, on continuous delivery, on how to work as a team, how about being robust, ensuring scalability, considering the cloud issues. And Graciela, you will have to get more involved in innovation, because my clients have the application in the 15 GeneXus, and they will start expecting the things that you mentioned before, because companies are going through digital transformation and they need to take other scenarios into account. Fortunately, one of the roads has been paved, and this is what GeneXus is all about. And with GeneXus 15 version, we will be able to really tread this road together. It's not a separate road. So this evolution will be running more smoothly, and we will be able to evolve alongside the version. So, Graciela, do you have anything else? No. Thank you for coming. And please use GeneXus 15 in any of the two flavors, and you know who you can refer to. Thank you for coming with us.